Texans vein. Smalls. Listen. Listen to me.
I'm similar to the thriller in Manila. Honeys call me bigger, the condom filler. Whether a stiff tongue or stiff dick, Biggie squeeze it to make shit fit. Now check this shit, I got the pack of rough riders in the back of the Pathfinder. You know the epilogue by James Todd Smith. I get swift with the lyrical gift. Hit you with the dip, make your kidney shift. Here we go, but I'm not domino. I got the funk flow to make your drawers drop slow. So recognize the dick size in these Falcon jeans. I wear 13s, know what I mean? I walk around and hit you with the Hennessy dick. Mess around and go blind, don't get to see shit. The next batter, hear the shatter, your batter, it doesn't matter.
Hi, I'm Dan Lakin and welcome to Around the World in 80 Drinks from Dine Under Canvas, our brand new pop-up restaurant. So we're opening tonight. This is actually a pre-record. I'm not quite live at 8 o'clock. It's about 3-4 o'clock at the moment, but I need to do this from this place because hopefully later we're going to be busy and I'm going to be running around serving people. Can't wait to get stuck back into work. It's been a long time coming. So tonight we're going to be making the Long Island iced tea. As I say every week, if you can please tag someone into these comments and hashtag Around the World in 80 Drinks if you're watching on playback, and tag someone, the more people that get tagged, the more chance there is in winning the competition for cocktails. So please tag people and please share and like and just basically get this far as far as possible. We've got a guest on later. Again, he was pre-recorded. He's in Texas. His name is Alex. He's quite an awesome bartender. More about him in a minute. But let's crack on and let's make a Long Island iced tea. So grab whatever it is that you're making cocktails in, whether it's your cocktail shaker, a thermos flask, a protein drink shaker, whatever it is. You're going to need a few ingredients for this. You're going to need pretty much your staple ingredients that you're going to have in your spirits cabinet anyway. So that's vodka, gin, white rum, and triple sec or Cointreau. So basically it's 4 clear spirits. The sour base to it is going to be lemon and sugar, as we have done in previous weeks, and that's pretty much it. Then we're going to shake it and we're going to top it with Coke. That's it. It's the Long Island iced tea. We thought we'd go a bit American. The Long Island is an American drink, with it being 4th of July and with having Alex on in a bit. So let's get underway. Dine Under Canvas, by the way, is a pop-up event in Ilkley, run by myself and Anthony, who's sorting out all the catering and kitchens. It's sponsored by Whittaker's, so hence the reason we've got Whittaker's gin and Whittaker's vodka. You might sure would find Whittaker's vodka in the shops. They've done this especially for us. So we want to basically put equal measures of everything in. So that's half a shot of everything to make it up to the 2 shots that I go on about each week. So half a shot of gin, half shot of Whittaker's vodka. Whittaker's, by the way, is all single batch, and all the labels are handwritten with the batch numbers and batch labels. So it's really small quantity, really sort of high quality gin and vodka. Even though they don't usually make vodka, it's if you can find it anywhere, I tell you what, come here and try it. It's absolutely amazing. It's my go-to martini vodka at the moment. Right, okay, so we've got a total of 2 shots in there. We've got Whittaker's gin, we've got Whittaker's vodka, we've got a white rum, which is Bacardi, and we've got a triple sec, which is Cointreau. Or orange liqueur, should I say, which is Cointreau. I'm using pre-batch lemon. If you're using fresh lemon, then it's a whole lemon. 1 whole lemon is about 25ml, give or take. 25ml is exactly what you need to make the sweet sour balance. And then you're going to need half a shot of sugar syrup, assuming you are using sugar syrup. Bit of a tongue twister. If not, if you're using fresh sugar, then it's 2 teaspoons, as I say each week. So 2 teaspoons to 1 whole lemon is about the balance you want. But don't worry too much about getting the sweet and sour balance right for this drink. We're going to top it with Coke, which is sweet anyway, so you're going to get something there. Jack, would you mind grabbing me some ice out of the van, please? I've opened a bar and forgot the ice. So anyway, more about the Long Island iced tea. Unsure if it's complete origin. There is a couple of ways of making it. You can either add tequila as well, in which case I just add another half measure. So you basically then just over 2 shots. Here's my awesome assistant. Thank you very much. I usually leave it in the freezer at home, but it's a little bit closer to get the ice that way. Right, so load of ice in there. I'm going to preload my glass with more ice. I'm going to do this as properly as possible with me being on an actual bar. instead of winging it each week. So there we go. Ice in my glass, ice in the shaker, good hard tap, good hard shake. So we've got our 50ml in there of spirits. We've got a single measure of sour to half a measure of sweet. I'm going to actually put the Coke in the bottom of this. You don't have to, you can put it to the top, but just for aesthetics, stick some Coke in the bottom. And then I'm going to strain this over the top. And there you go. So you can just chuck the whole drink in the glass if you want, like we do in other weeks. Chuck all the ice in and then add more ice maybe if it's short from the top. Remember, you want as much ice as possible to keep that drink for cold as long as possible. You don't want it just to be a watery drink after a few minutes. And then you can top it with Coke. It doesn't matter which way you do it round. At the end of the day, you're still going to be sticking a straw in it, and you're still going to be mixing it before you're drinking it. Otherwise, you're drinking a shot of Coke first, followed by everything else, which is basically in all these spirits sour. And then garnish it. As I say each week, you want to garnish it with what's in the drink in an ideal world. So lemon. So you can either do a wheel of lemon, or you can just do a slice like so. A little incision on the edge. Put it next to a straw so you can smell it when you go to sip it. And there we have it, one Long Island iced tea. Nice early afternoon refresher. And also, I didn't actually know what our guest was making until I pre-recorded it. And I released this drink last week saying what we're going to make. And coincidentally, he's done something with tea as well. So you can learn more about how the Americans are making drinks and what they're doing at the moment. So as I mentioned, let's go on to it now. Let's bring in our next guest. He's from Austin, Texas. At the moment over there, the bars are open and they have closed down again because they had another spike. His background is bartending in the Roosevelt Rooms, which I basically found on the top 50 list for the world's best bars. That's where he did all his training. He went on to the Pushing, where he was a bar manager, which is an awesome private club only, so private members only. And yeah, just a generally awesome bartender. So let's welcome our next guest, Alex in Texas. Roll VT. Alex, thank you so much for joining us on Around the World in 80 Drinks. How are you?
Doing well, Dennis. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. So what's it like in Texas at the moment?
Oh, real hot, man. I mean, it's like 95 degrees out right now. So sitting on the porch swing a little bit later while we're chatting is going to be quite the adventure. But yeah, we're doing all right.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the Texas outside. So I found you through LinkedIn. How I get a lot of these guests is by looking online and looking at the world's top 50 bars, you know, those lists. And I think I stumbled across the Roosevelt Room, which I know you've got experience with. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so the Roosevelt Room is a bar that focuses on all of the classics throughout the ages. We actually break them down, you know, by cocktail age, you know, documented time periods throughout history. That was a really, really great experience, you know, high level of proficiency and serving experience, really dialed in recipes, high volume. You know, they taught me a lot technique wise and about the history of drinks. And I went through that training program there with actually a girlfriend who's here helping me film. And at the end of the training program, she actually found my most recent job, which was the Pershing, and brought me along with her. So that was another really interesting experience. A different side of the industry, you know, for sure, because it was a private club, so you have to be a member there, and that was a unique experience as well. It's very diverse here in Austin. We've got a pretty good scene, so.
Amazing, yeah. So I know American bartenders obviously have to do a course, which I think is fairly generic, is it? And then you've tailored and you've been trained further at the Roosevelt Rooms.
Right. Yeah, we have a couple of different programs in America that are focused on different areas of the hospitality industry. Myself personally, I have gone through the Court of Master Sommeliers of America's introductory course, and then Bar Smarts, which is David Wondrich, Doug, I can't remember the instructors' names, but yeah, it's a really well-known program here as well. I did their bar starts, their bar smarts, which are all online, kind of focused on the history of spirits and the different types and the variations, and then bar smarts advanced as well, which is a little more bespoke in their education. You have to actually go through a testing process, and you are tested by the main instructors who actually sit there and have you make a couple of rounds of drinks and go through and grade you on your proficiency and your techniques. So
Wow,
it's
okay.
it kind of depends on what level of training you want in the industry. It's more common, but it's not by any means required to be a bartender in America.
Okay, right, okay. I guess in the train is quite high because obviously the Roosevelt Room is on that list. I'm guessing
Yeah,
it is quite tailored and a high standard of training.
definitely. And I would say that my experience at the Roosevelt Room almost makes Bar Smarts Advanced look like Bar Starts because it's more in depth. I mean, we're talking knowing the history and variations of different areas of spirits, even the lesser known ones. So
Amazing. And so you obviously got a fair amount of experience there and trained up to a high standard. And I think, were you the bar director at the Paching?
yeah, the bar manager there. It was a small team. We all were working together. I wouldn't necessarily say that I was really directing anyone because by the time I was there, almost all of my coworkers were, at the same level. Lori came with me from the Roosevelt Room, so we worked together at the night shift, and we had another guy with us, Matt, and then Adam Bryan, who's actually an old head here in Austin. He kind of got the craft movement here started. So if you look into him as well, you'll know that he has that same level of proficiency and kind of training. So
Okay, amazing. Well, it sounds like you're well experienced for making a drink anyway. Tell us about what you're making.
well, today I'm going to be making Bourbon Punch, which is a spin-off of Dave Wondrich's Rum Punch. I figured because it is summer, it's real hot, and there's nothing more Texan than sweet tea and bourbon. We'd go that route. I'm going to be using Garrison Brothers and some fresh squeezed lime juice, as well as Earl Grey tea with the bergamot oils in there to kind of help round out all the flavors. It makes it nice and light and minty. So
Amazing.
the reason I went with punch is just because I like to go back to the basics of bartending. Before we had single serving cocktails, it was punches. It was an experience of like just going down to your local bar and ordering whatever they had on hand. It wasn't a menu that you got to be selective with, and I think that goes back to the origins of the hospitality industry, where it's more about bringing people together than it is necessarily about the drinks themselves. So I miss having an ice machine, I'll tell you that much, and an ice wall. So we're going to start with some overbrewed Earl Grey tea, 2 ounces, or 60 milliliters for those of us who are more enlightened and on the metric system. I had to do some conversions before we jumped on just because I wasn't sure quite how much it would be in milliliters. And then I've got a lemon oleo that I made and let sit overnight. The oleo is just the peels of lemon and demerara sugar that I let sit, and the sugar pulls all the oil and hydration out of the peels. That makes a little bit of a thicker, more flavorful syrup rather than just using straight demerara. And then just a little bit, ½ ounce of that fresh lemon juice, double strain it to get all the pulp out. And then Garrison Brothers bourbon, who's actually local to Austin, so that's why I chose them. They did a lot because of the shutdown for the industry in Austin. They actually reached out to some bartenders. And grab a straw here. A little bit of grated nutmeg, add some spice to it. Got lemon wheel. Top it with a few pieces of ice. And you're good to go. Give it a little stir. Nice and fresh. It's something that we would call here a porch pounder. You can just sit on the porch out in the heat, drink a couple of these, and enjoy the day with your friends and have a nice cocktail. So
amazing. I tell you what, a trend has been, as we've gone around the world chatting to bartenders like yourself, is if you put a lot of prep work into your ingredients, like you have with your lemon and demerara sugar, it's actually quick and easy to make amazing drinks at home.
yeah, it's all in the mise en place. I mean, that's actually like something that you learn from the very beginning. Is like if you set yourself up beforehand and really prepare, you don't have trouble during service to produce the high level of drink that you really want to give your guests, and you're able to have more of an engagement and conversation with them if you're not having to sit there and do all the work, all the minute. And that's actually the way that I like to set bar programs up, is doing as much of the work as you can ahead of time. Really think it out and execute it in the moment so that you can be with your guests rather than just running around making drinks.
Yeah, let's face it, the reason people go to bars is to be entertained.
Yeah. And, speaking with the bartender is one of the things that I see people enjoy the most. We have knowledge.
Say it again, sorry, cut out for a second there.
Speaking with the bartenders is one of the things that people enjoy the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to know what everything is. What's this tool? What's that tool? What's in this bottle? What's in this spray bottle? What's in this dash bottle? So, and then like grabbing at everything. So you got to kind of keep them behind the bar line. But it's a great industry to be a part of. Unfortunately we are shut down right now. But if you want to keep chatting, I'm going to take you outside to the garden.
Let's do it. Cheers to that.
All right. Bring you outside with me.
So July 4th coming up, but everyone watching this now is watching it on Saturday, the 4th of July.
Right.
What are you going to be doing?
We're going to go out to the grandparents' house because we are shut down. The city of Austin actually told everybody to stay inside and not have any gatherings for 4th of July because it's dangerous right now. I cut out.
You did cut out a little bit there.
I cut out. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
Am I back in now?
You're back in.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah.
So whereabouts do you go to see the grandparents then?
It's just down the street. They're local as well, so we won't have to try. But, staying safe, staying with the family, just trying to enjoy the day and, keep everybody together. So. Yeah,
okay. So, I mean, I know the Texans opened all the bars, didn't they? How long ago was that?
It was a little bit less than a month ago. We opened back up. We rushed. I have my feelings about that. I think that it was really more about the economy tanking than it was about the fact that it was safe to do. And unfortunately, because we didn't do it right, there were bars not observing the guidelines and staying safe and trying to keep their guests safe. We ended up having to shut down again. And, a lot of my friends who went back to work actually ended up getting sick. They ended up getting it, and now they're, laid off again and having to go through the process of, unemployment, and they're sick. So it's unfortunate to see. I really hope that they learn from this and make a better effort in the future to keep our people safe rather than rushing. So.
Yeah, no, completely. I mean, as you know, we're open on the 4th of July, all bars and restaurants, as long as they've got the right protocols in place to prevent, spread and contamination and that sort of thing. So hopefully we can learn from lessons that have been, happened in places like Texas and across the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there are definitely countries that did it a lot better than we did. I would say that America as a whole has done the worst job dealing with it. And I think a lot of that has to do with our attitudes as Americans, that our individual experience is more important than the community one. So that ends up hurting us even more. And I think that because of that, it's going to take us far longer than anyone else to even get a handle on it. I mean, luckily I had my family to fall back on, but I know a lot of people don't have that same safety net as I do. So yeah. I'm glad to be here with my family and safe, but it's not the shared experience of everyone else that's also going through this. So
yeah, that's a really interesting point, and it's sort of I think it's completely right. As we go around the world chatting to all these different countries, South Korea has a population that listens to instruction and just does it with no question. Yeah. Whereas I think you guys in America, and potentially a bit in the UK as well, we sort of listen to instruction, but then also interpret it in our own way to benefit ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult because, we pride ourselves on the fact that we're founded on quote unquote freedom, right?
Yeah. And
anything that seems to get in the way of people's freedoms is always fought tooth and nail, but I don't think that it infringes upon people's freedoms. It's just about keeping people safe. I'm immunocompromised. So is my mom. So are my two siblings. Like, I don't want to risk anything. I'm not going to go back to work until I know it's safe for us. And so I'm relying on the government to help us out and try and do the right thing. But they haven't. I've been waiting to hear back from the unemployment office for almost 4 months now. I haven't gotten anything in that entire time. So God. It would make sense for me to go back to work, right? But it's not safe, and I couldn't do that to them. So
yeah, absolutely. So I'm guessing after all this, we have a position still in Pershing. Are they going to look after you in that respect?
The agreement, or I guess the terms in which I left was, it was more about my personal safety and my family safety. So I think if I wanted to go back, I definitely could. But I'm going to not only put that off as long as possible. So they might have to fill my position with somebody else. But okay. I'm going to wait until the industry as a whole is bettered. The industry in America is just way far behind everyone else. I mean, we're talking about a group of people that are working for $2.13 an hour, no health benefits, no sort of assurances that they're going to be taken care of whenever the industry shuts down. If anything happens, they get hurt. They're not taken care of at all. So I'm actually trying to speak out on that as well in my local industry. But I hope that as a country, we start taking better care of the people that take care of them. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'd love to come back to Texas at some point. We did the F1 as we initially chatted about. So if I do, I'll definitely be giving you a shout.
Yeah, definitely do. I mean, I'm local to Austin. I'll show you around the city, and we'll have a great time.
Awesome. Another bucket list place. It's been added back on my bucket list. It was TIS, but it's been added back on again.
Yeah. Well, we're banned from traveling out, so I would say that you probably shouldn't travel in right now.
No, absolutely not. But maybe in a few years.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of years when we figure it all out.
Look, Alex, thank you again so much for coming on the show. Alex, Absolutely. Everyone. So we're going to post the links to Alex and the bars that he's worked in on here. So if you want to find out more, then follow those comments. Also, while I'm in this venue, I'm going to show you what it's like behind the scenes. So that's the camera that's been filming me. Here we go, in our live venue from 5 o'clock. This will be starting to fill up with guests, all socially distanced. Here's our bar. It's all a bit in the making at the moment. Obviously sponsored by Whittaker's, as you can tell by the back bar there. And some more socially distant tables over here. Everything's 2 meters apart, so no one should ever really be bumping into each other. All the food's served to this central table, and then the guests can help themselves to their food once it's called. And back outside, the front of the teepees is the van. We'll move that once we've loaded our stock back in. And toilets, which are just 1 cubicle per person, so no issues there either. So anyone that's local, please do pop down. You've got a sneak peek of what it's like in this venue. Well, it'll be a lot tidier by the time we open. Hopefully see you soon. Don't forget, if you're watching on playback, please do tag anyone that you think might be interested. And if you're and also hashtag around the world in 80 drinks. Thanks. I'm Dan Lakin. I'm done.